This is Jack Vickers, and you are listening to the Hidden Oaks Overdose Football Fix, also known as The Hood.
It is Tuesday, November 8th, 2022, 8 p.m. sharp. I'm not ready, Josh. Thanksgiving's only in a couple weeks. But hello, everybody, and welcome to the Hidden Oaks Overdose Football Fix podcast. I am one of your lovely hostesses, the Garlic Johnson. We are joined, as always, by your other lovely hostess, the Joshua Mitchell. Josh, say hi to the folks out there.
Hi, folks.
Thank you, Josh. All you lovely people, we'd appreciate if you interacted in the Discord. I guess you could leave voicemails if you wanted. Anchor.fm/hoodpod/message. Not really a thing we do anymore. That's kind of on us, though, I suppose, as well. Segment start times are down in the description below if you're not live, which is most people who listen. And then thank you at Levi Oki Illustration for all the beautiful art everyone can see. And if you want some beautiful custom artwork, it could be a great Christmas gift. It'd be time to get that in now if you want to hit up Carl and Bear for a beautiful Christmas idea. Josh, how are you doing, though, pal?
I'm doing good. How you, Gar?
I'm doing pretty good, Josh. You vote? You vote today, pal?
Yeah. Demonstrated my American freedom when I voted.
Did you get the cool sticker?
Yeah, got that scratch and sniff freedom sticker.
Stiff. Whoa, where'd we put the sticker, pal?
Back of my phone case.
Okay.
Because the hoodlum at the Big Lake Lutheran Church that I voted at.
Yep.
Decided to be, I don't even know what he was thinking because he peeled the sticker off the paper and handed it to me and didn't hand the paper off so I could, staple it to my notebook.
Did you get that man's name? He should be fired as a poll worker.
I got his badge number.
Was he wearing his body cam?
No. Light was off.
We're gonna have to send a letter
Wi-Fi interference and whatnot.
Yeah, we're gonna have to send a letter to old TW and be like, bro, you got to get your state elections under control.
Yep, I will say this though. I'm beginning to think Trump was onto something when he said that the election was rigged.
Okay.
I mean, I walk into the poll, I give him my information. Don't ask for an ID, no big deal. It's not like I'd be able to. It's not like I know that my neighbor's name is this and they live at this address. And by all means, nobody would ever know that about anybody else.
Jesus.
Go in, hand them the little ticket that they printed off, and they go, here's your ballot. I get about 2 steps away. Wait, hold on. You've got a special ballot. Goes to the back, hands me a piece of paper, hands me a crayon, and then just tells me to get on my way.
Here's a coloring book.
So I don't know what kind of vote I had to do, but it was one. I don't know. It looked like a puppy dog when I was done. But no, they legitimate. No, because they handed me a crayon, Gar. They didn't give me like a ruler too.
Okay.
I guess it was that actually. Most of that happened. They did say, "Hold on a second, we handed you the wrong ballot," and I looked at them and I was like, "It's what?" Am I not voting for the same person regardless? No, I guess there's school district stuff involved.
Yeah, it definitely depends on like your exact house, your exact street. Like obviously everyone over the state's voting for TW or, Keith Ellison or whoever. But, school district, like you said, judges, county commissioners, all these sorts of things depend very specifically on where you're at. So your precinct and such. Yeah.
So, I don't know, free crayons.
And to your point earlier, Josh, I will happily support voter ID if along with that voter IDs are free for everyone to get. I'll support voter ID as long as everyone can get one for free.
Oh, you mean, yeah, that should be a no-brainer. But no, there's too much to happen.
Some people would argue we're just trying to suppress votes by adding more rules to it. But I'll support voter ID if everyone can get one for free.
See, it won't even be that. Let's just kind of implant the microchip that shocks you to remind you who to vote for. When to vote. Sorry,
I've had 4 COVID shots. Should I have 4 of these microchips? And I got a flu shot.
You probably have like 44.
Oh hell yeah, brother! Obama 2.0.
Yeah, no, ID is not a good idea just because I know that the population that I work with sometimes is unable to maintain an ID or to keep an ID in a safe location, and so that can be an issue as well. There's a lot that could be talked about, but that's our other podcast.
Yeah, I was gonna say, I was surprised I got anything out of you. I thought you were just gonna push me to the side and say, "Let's go." Was that enough politics talk for you, Josh?
Yeah, for now. We'll broach the subject again when I have something that actually matters.
Sounds good. All right, let's move into Gar's Grinder, because I'm sure both Al and Walters and whoever else are now just absolutely moaning at this point. But we're only 5 minutes in. They can get the fuck over themselves. This is our podcast. You can choose whether or not to listen to it. Gar's Grinder, though. We'll move into the football portion of the podcast. Voting's over, but, who knows? The future of the country's uncertain. Anywho, Kenyon Drake was this week's Gar's Grinder. He had we just watched it last night, Monday night. Kenyon Drake had 24 carries for 93 yards, so not overly productive, but 24 carries is still a lot of volume to get. He had 2 rushing touchdowns, though, which is a big deal. He also had 2 receptions for 16 yards. But, anyone who was watching that game last night, Kenyon Drake was never really flashy. I can't remember a run for more than maybe 15 yards. I don't even know what his longest run would have been. But he was just grinding that clock. Like, he was playing. I understand Greg Roman's offense has been, flying and profiling for a long time. But that was perfect Zimball. That was control the clock, pound the rock type football. So Kenyon Drake was Gar's Grinder this week for sure.
Yeah, not a bad one. He warmed the bench in the Deflate League for me.
Oh well. Did you still win?
Yeah, I had the week high in that league, boy.
Yeah. All right. You want to move into some rant and some rave, Josh?
Sure.
Well, let's. Usually with a rant or a rave, you're enthusiastic. Can we get a little more injury out of you, pal?
I'm just afraid of pulling a muscle in my jaw from screaming so loud.
Well, the first bullet point we have here in the rant and rave, Josh, is Jeff Saturday. What do we think about that?
No, isn't that just ballistic? Bringing on a guy named Jeff Saturday to coach a football team, 0 coaching experience in the college or professional level, might be a peewee coach somewhere, but I guarantee his team is like 2-6 because they're little kids and they only play 8 games. Probably doesn't even hand out the good juice boxes after the game. This Jeff Saturday guy can't even name himself Jeff Sunday. That's when they play the games, guy. Get your name right. Rant over. Gar.
I did not expect so much energy out of you. I definitely think it's interesting. I thought for sure that if it definitely seems like this was a full Irsay call. Irsay was just like, Jeff, you're the fucking guy. And he's like, my name Jeff. And then, yeah, they were off to the races. But I would think if he wanted some former player with experience and like he didn't want any retreads of like John Fox or Gus Bradley, which I understand. I thought why not opt for Reggie Wayne, who's already in your organization. And, you'd be giving someone of color an opportunity. And, again, he does have that. I think it might be his first year coaching, but he already has some of that experience. Whereas Jeff Saturday was just 5-3 in high school, I think. And then now he's thrust into the NFL. I get it and I don't. But, yeah, I don't know. It's just kind of wild. I understand from Jeff Saturday's perspective, obviously, if you get the call from Jim Irsay, you're taking the job 100%. Like, being able to skip all those levels of bullshit, but I don't know. How many more games do you think they win the rest of the way?
More than the Packers.
How low is that bar?
Well, the Packers' next 4 games or whatever are what? Dallas, Philly's in there. I don't know. They'll lose to the bye week for sure. They're trash. But yeah, no, Jeff Saturday, I think the main thing is like if they offered Reggie Wayne the job, they'd have to give him a raise. And then there's, I don't want to say that it's a circus, but then there's all the whole, person of color getting the job, which is great. I agree. Probably needs to happen more. But that's, just another kind of deterrent from that. Maybe in the offseason they lean that way. But Jeff Saturday was an offensive lineman. Green Bay Packers legend Jeff Saturday, by the way. Get his name right.
One whole season.
Yeah, maybe it was less than that, I think. But
4 games.
Something like that. But Jeff's, he's an offensive lineman, so they literally get paid in old Milwaukee and like beef sticks. So I think that's part of the
worse
reason.
ways to get paid, pal. Was that a complaint coming out of your mouth? Because that sounds amazing.
No, I'm just saying, Jim Irsay, he's got that traveling museum that he brings everywhere. He's probably gonna, probably has original jerky sticks from 1400s. So.
You know what? You're absolutely right, Josh. All right. Next little bullet point here on the rant and rave, just so we keep her moving a little bit, because these tend to almost always go over 30 minutes. But Vikings and the Pack. Josh, losing the Lions was brutal. You don't have to sit here and retread all your thoughts. I'm sure you've already gotten a lot of crap in some group texts or at work or whoever else. But just you've called the Packers dead a couple times. I am still not willing to call the Packers dead because I think there's only I'm not going to pull up the standings right now, but I think there's very few teams who actually have positive win records. So it's still wide open, the NFC, as far as the wild card goes, from what I understand. So I'm not going to call the Packers dead until week 18, like I've said many times already. But how do you feel about the Pack, Josh?
Oh, you probably believed it when your parents said your goldfish was just napping and it was floating on top of the water, don't you?
Maybe. I'm a glass half full kind of guy, pal. I like to see the good.
Yeah, well, even if you filled that water bowl all the way up to the top like you should have been with your fish instead of just halfway, they're dead. Still floating on the top. They're not getting any better. No, Rodgers is not petty enough to do that. Rodgers is, he's definitely not playing with the same sort of energy and happiness and joy like he has in the past few seasons. I'm not going to deny it. 3 interceptions in the red zone, gross. Throwing it to your offensive lineman, gross. Losing to the Lions, gross. But he didn't necessarily, lose to the Lions. The team did. So it's not all on Rodgers. That defense, gross. The rest of the offense, gross. Literally, wide receiver. David Bakhtiari is just going to have to change positions because he can't block apparently because of his knee. Why not just tell him to run straight go routes? He's a giraffe. He can get down there.
Subscribe.
But no, this is, second week in a row where Christian Watson's pulled with a concussion. Apparently he didn't have a concussion. They just wanted to be safe, which, good on them. They did something that Miami couldn't. So maybe give us a few wins for that. Moral wins, obviously, because that's all that matters in America.
Obviously.
And then Romeo Doubs goes out, high ankle sprain. So a couple weeks there. Sammy Watkins is, one catch away from getting hurt again. He's got the Deshaun Jackson blood running in him. And then we get down to the real wide receivers of the team. Randall Cobb on the IR, Alan Lazard, shoulder injury. He did okay, but not the best. And then Samurai Torrey. You ever heard of him? Neither have I. And then Winfrey, and I'm pretty sure that there's nobody on the practice squad. So yeah, I'm pretty sure that this is a tank for CJ or Bryce Young situation. We're drafting another quarterback. Rodgers will have a couple more MVP seasons. 2023 is our year. Go Pack, go.
All right. And then, that was, I guess I don't know what I expected out of you, but thanks for giving us your Packers coverage. For the Vikes, I don't know. 7-1, whoop-de-doo. I think the Vikings are frauds. We're not, even if we get, fuck it. Let's have Case Keenum play. Let's beat the Cowboys. Let's beat the Bills. Let's beat whoever else we got in our schedule. I could pull it up right now, but I'm kind of lazy. What do we got here? We got the Bills and the Cowboys and the Patriots and the Jets. Let's go. Let's just plow through the rest of the season. Let's end the season 16-1. Doesn't matter. Vikings are frauds, just the same way I think Eagles are frauds. Neither of those teams are Super Bowl teams. Certainly not Super Bowl winning teams. So that doesn't really matter. I'll appreciate the high, but I'm not fully invested. I don't fully believe it. So that's what I think about the Vikings. Probably a lot more depressing than most of the skull homers on here would want to hear. But
Scoldgers.
The Scoldgers. Yeah, I just don't believe it. Maybe I'm too jaded. Who knows? But
good teams find ways to win, and they've found ways to win. And so 7-1, that's not a bad record, Guard. You got to give your team credit when credit's due.
No, we certainly seem playoff bound at this point, but we're not going to win the Super Bowl, and isn't that the whole goal? So.
Well, if you listen to K-Fan like some of our listeners do, and most of them don't because they're intelligent, but some of our listeners listen to that show, and I tuned in on Monday after dropping Asher off at daycare. You ask Ben Lieber, they're going to win it all. And there's no ifs, ands, or buts about it. No. He played for that team, bud. He knows it the inside and out.
Didn't we cut him? Then he went back to the Chargers.
But no, I don't know. I agree that there's definitely some holes. First drive of the game always looks great. Scripted. It has to, right?
That's how last year went as well. We scored in almost all our first possessions last year.
And then the middling, the middle 58 minutes, not necessarily the best, but that last minute, not bad. and you just gotta, it's like the compliment sandwich. You got the good, you got the negative, and yours is just, your team's is like a triple stuffed.
Yeah, we have won all of our one score games so far this year, which is good. But I mean, it's almost like the similar to the. And I'm not trying to say we're gonna have the same season as 2017, but it's almost the same as like in 2017 we got the absolute best of Case Keenum. Like every 50-50 ball he threw was like win our way. Every ball bounced our way, and so I just think it's unreal. If anyone who's really watching the games, the Vikings offense is pretty uninspiring most of the time. The defense will get a turnover, but they also allow some big gashes here and there. So I mean, we've been relying on turnovers, which is good. And bad offense from the other teams, but yeah, I don't think it's sustainable. But we got to keep moving, Josh. Let's get into the weekly recap here, Josh. How salty is your grain of salt coming into this week?
4-2, so another kind of okay week. I'll take it.
Pretty
loss
sweet.
in Victoria's Secret again. That's third loss in 4 weeks. Bye weeks kind of got the best of me. So one, I didn't have Nick Chubb playing this week, and he's my RB1. Literally had to trot out Brian Robinson, who's been struggling. No, I don't think I played him. I played Jamal, and yeah, who cares? But yeah, I won in a few leagues, lost in the Butt Sweat and Beers Dynasty. I don't know if you saw my bench pick, but I literally, in the 18-person bench or whatever it is, only 4 people were eligible to play. So, yikes. Still barely lost. PJ Walker put up -5, didn't help.
That's tough for the program.
Had the highest score in Deflate These Balls, despite not having Joe Mixon, and had the highest score in Hidden Oaks Dynasty, having Joe Mixon.
All right, Big Cock McGraw. Let's all just calm down here, pal.
So 38-16, 70% win percent overall with the Joshua Allen Incorporated Bunker Property Intellectuals. 306 and 189, 61.82% win. Go Guard.
Jesus, Josh. We get it. You're good at fantasy football. Fucking relax, dude. And then next year, when you're like, you're looking like me, 31 and 41 right now, you're going to stop keeping track about week 5, and then we won't know. But some of us have integrity, Josh. Speaking of integrity, I went fucking 1 and 7 last week. I fucking absolutely stink at fantasy football this year. You shouldn't listen to a goddamn word I say. I also got eliminated from Jordan's JWoww's Guillotine League because, I decided to play Romeo Dubs over James Conner. That ultimately killed me. So leave it to the Packers let me down. Saquon Barkley was on a bye, which was depression. But yeah, and also Mark Andrews wasn't playing, so Isaiah Likely just didn't play to the same level. But 31 and 41 head to head. So that's I'm batting .430. And then with the intellectual property of Josh Allen Bunker Incorporated, if I were to play every team every week, I would be now 352 and 459. So batting 434 right there. Just depressing. And even my BSB team that was so dominant to start the year, that's slipping. Like I went 10 and 1, 10 and 1, 10 and 1, 8 and 3, 10 and 1. Now I'm 7 and 4, 2 and 9, 4 and 7, 5 and 6. Like I have no fucking chance for anything in any league this week. In any league this year, Josh. So I'm going to be about down $200 in fantasy this year, and there's just no recourse for me. What's even the point? Hey, I'm
helping you. I'm helping you.
No one can
it's
see
just
it.
time to start. It's time to pull the plug on Deflate These Balls. Just tank out. It's just all part of the plan.
This isn't good for podcasting, but Josh and I share a Google Doc so I can see his updates in real time, and he was just starting to put in L's in everywhere, which I do not appreciate, kind sir. You son of a bitch. Give us the FanDuel top 3.
Yeah, the FanDuel top three fantasy points. We already alluded to it, but Joe Mixon, 53.1 points, absolutely lit the world on fire with 5 touchdowns, 4 in the first half, I believe. Coming in next was Justin Fields, having a career turnaround here in the middle parts of this season with 42.72 points. And then Devontae Adams, 31.6 points. Very solid wide receiver. He had I'm pretty sure 30 of those 31.6 came in the first half. And so kind of embarrassing second half. But top 3 values, Joe Mixon was already mentioned, but he was a 6.6 times value. Justin Fields, 5.8 times. And then the Patriots defense not allowing a single point to the Indianapolis Colts with a 5.3 times value. Top 3 weekly totals for the league. Kenny Goldenstein with 154.32. Cody 142.96, and then Smelly Garlic with 135.1.
Hey, you son of a bitch.
I just read the prompter. Top 3 leaderboard. We've got Jack with 1127.9, Elena with 1081.46, and then Welters with 1073.82. That rounds off the top 3. Coming in, and I'm pretty sure 4th with 1073.81 is me.
That's
Maybe.
Not true. Think you're still in 8th.
Yeah, makes sense. Medical Minute Guard, Turf Field, bad. All right. Hoodlines.
Very good, Josh.
Do you want to read the Hoodlines?
Yeah, that's fine.
All right.
Do you want?
I don't know if you had time.
You want to tee me up?
Yeah, I don't know if you had time to kind of prep yourself.
Oh, absolutely not. We're doing it live. I'm so cold on these Hoodlines. I've not read them one minute.
Or I interrupt you for this breaking news.
Okay.
Coming out of the hood, we've got a few lines brought to us by Skybusters. Hoodlines.
Beautiful, Josh. That was excellent. Tonight, hate crimes surge as people hanging with Mr. Cooper were seen abusing the Christians. In our next story, a gangly magician makes the Jefferson Starship disappear, leaving us to ask, what'll they do next? After that, a drunken man in hole screaming for more help is left for dead by a man running up a hill. That's, all right. I love that one. And lastly, in our main story tonight, a hotel hot tub's request for repairs is denied after a blonde woman was seen dumping a cup of tea onto control panel, asking angrily if you like that. All that and more tonight in our Hoodlines. Thank you so much for listening. Hoodlines, brought to us by Scottbusters. Also, the side bet winner this week, it was the Gronk Memorial, tight end closest to 69 yards, over or under. Eric won, run up that hill. Eric Szymanski won, with Hawkinson getting 70 yards, 1 yard away. Can't get much closer than that. So, shout out to Mr. Eric Szymanski, account. I'm sure he'll be counting every one of those 500 pennies I Venmo to him, but big shout out to him for winning that side bet. Josh, how do you feel about your performance in the hood?
Hey, I'm not too upset. You know, second highest weekly score. T had Joe Mixon put up a third of his points, which will help you get the high. But you know, I had Justin Fields do the same for me, I guess. Oh yeah, Justin Fields was on my bench. Never mind. Devontae Adams did that for me. Yeah, I mean, it was fun. Haven't won a side bet yet this year, so it's rigged.
Oh, now they're rigged. Now that you're not winning, I see. So it's fair when you
wins 2 of them.
It's fair when you win, but it's a rigged election when you lose, huh? Just want to make sure I understand that.
It's not an election though.
I had the Patriots defense put up 31 points. I didn't even come close to beating Brad. Jesus, dude.
Your team is trash. You took Kyle Pitts.
Yeah, that it's really coming back to haunt me. I mean,
and you took Allen Robinson,
all my receivers, Allen Robinson, Brandon Cooks. I've already dropped the other ones. Like pretty much every receiver that isn't named Justin Jefferson is an absolute disappointment. Yeah, just terrible from round 3 to like round 8. I just had a terrible middle draft, but we'll move on here, Josh. Those are the headlines again. Thank you, Skybusters, for bringing us those worthy waivers here, Josh. Worthy waivers. Is there anyone you like on the waivers this week? Some people might have dropped Jeff Wilson after the CMC news. Obviously, he resurged a bit immediately in Miami. Would you go back, or are you too scared?
I guess it really depends on your situation. You know, if you have one of those running backs that's hurt, and you're desperate, yeah, I'd probably grab him. Watson, I think, is picked up in most leagues from what I see. And so, you know, that's one thing. I guess, I don't know. He hasn't played in, what, 2 or a year and a half? More than a year and a half?
I mean, yeah, is it not counting the like preseason series he did this year? I think it's been close to 2 years at this point.
Yeah, and his preseason series, didn't he go like 0 for, I don't even care. But
plenty of handoffs, I believe.
Yeah, he should be pretty limber from all his massages, but overall, I'm probably not going to waste my time putting him or trying to find out if he's available.
OBJ?
OBJ, you know, I still don't think. I mean, I don't know. The only thing I've heard that he's going to be on a team for the last 4 months. but he hasn't signed with anybody.
I mean, he
and
tore his
it's possible.
ACL in the Super Bowl, Josh. The guy was recovering.
Yeah, I know, but it's still the same story. He's not on a team yet, so I'm not going to pick him up, and it's possible he doesn't play until November or December. We're in November.
I would say it's November already, but that's what the people are saying.
And I've already picked up Samurai Tor in a couple leagues just to have. Like I said, the Green Bay Packers are literally trotting out coaches' kids to play catch at practice.
I love those legacy signings. What about Terrace Marshall?
Who?
Come on, Carolina superstar.
Carolina has superstars? I thought Carolina was the East Coast Green Bay.
Is that a compliment?
Not this year.
All right, but so really no heavy waiver action. No heavy waiver action you're looking at this week.
No, nothing really stood out. On this list, Jeff Wilson might be the best. Or the kind of the biggest ad. I had mentioned last week Cordarrelle Patterson in leagues if people had dropped him. So I was kind of happy that I got him, just because it looks like they're planning on utilizing him in that game plan more.
I mean, yeah, why won't they? He's their star. All right. Well, if that's all we got for the worthy waivers, then Josh, we will go ahead and move into the outro here. Thanks again, everyone, for listening. We'll have some obituaries after this, so don't leave just yet. Don't forget about our Discord. We love people chatting all the live long day. We will see you back here Saturday morning. I'm going to reach out to Jamie. We may or may not have a medical minute for next Saturday, so it's been a little bit, so I'm going to harass Jamie, see if we can get a medical minute in. So that's worth listening to. And also, I don't care what your political leanings are. I would advocate highly for the go on YouTube and just look up the Kornacki cam. Again, I don't care what you believe politically, who you voted for, who you didn't vote for, whatever you believe. No one is going to break down the election results better than Kornacki in his fucking white tucked-in shirt and his fucking khaki pants. If you want the purest of election coverage, you're going to go ahead and go on YouTube and look up the Kornacki cam, and that's going to be the greatest midterm election coverage tonight and probably for the next couple days, as I'm sure we won't have all the results perfectly tonight. So, whatever you believe, Kornacki should be who you're getting your results from. No ifs, ands, or buts about it. Josh, go ahead and hit your Go Packers, then we'll change the mood here.
Go Packers.
All right, and with that, Josh, it's today's a specifically sad day because, from week to week, we always go over the deaths of our fallen comrades and some fantasy leagues, but one of our own has died. You've already died twice, so you can quit being selfish and you can share the spotlight for once. I have died in one of our guillotine leagues, and it's a depressing day, and I've probably never been sadder in my whole life, Josh, and so I'll go ahead and let you use your beautiful spoken word to tribute my life and also a life of a guy you and I have never met. And with that, we'll let the sad song play for a beat, and then I'll let you take it away, Josh. Time to be sad.
R.I.P. in peace. 9/5/2022 to 11/7/2022. Garlic's Angels. Johnson. The legend himself met his end after weeks of doom and gloom came to fruition. Garlic's adventure was much like a beach ball filled with jelly beans rolling down a hill. He overcame obstacles, bounced off trees and bushes, and when all hope seemed lost, he would find enough of a slope to keep rolling. Week 9 proved to be the toughest hill yet. Instead of the spry beach ball on a downward trajectory, his Week 9 experience was far from ideal. He feared for his life like that of the last cheese curd in a kid's meal at Lambeau. A sole curd in an 8-pound tub, able to dodge greasy sausage fingers until he was a lone survivor. It's hard to say who he sees himself as. Is he the cheese curd, doomed to the digestive tract of a 250-pound fourth grader? Or is he the fourth grader, doomed to starvation because his mom said he couldn't get seconds? R.I.P. in peace, 9/5/2022 to 11/7/2022. Softball Danny! Softball Danny's a man that nobody's ever met. We're not sure he's real. He may or may not have a different first name than Softball, but at this point in time, his name is Softball. His team came in to Week 9 happy, go lucky, having just gotten an extra prize in their cereal that morning. The Wonder Ring from the Wonder Twins was yet not effective enough to provide them that extra point or 20 to win that matchup. Instead, Softball Danny retreated to the locker room with his fellow comrades, only to be kicked out because he's not actually a coach of a team. They said, "This isn't softball, Danny." And where he'd interrupt and go, "Yeah, it is. This is softball, Danny." But then they just felt pity for him and let him sit in the corner eating his cereal without milk because he's a monster. I'm rambling now. Finn. Go Packers.
It was at this moment that he knew. He fucked up.
Oh, shit. Here we go again.